Welcome to ALP Cycles Dynamic Warm-Ups. Allison and Patty are going to be our demonstrators today. And first we're going to start with knee holds. This movement you want to try and keep your hips level and hold for just a little, maybe 2 to 3 seconds before you switch sides. And again, we'll want to do up to 10 of these on each side. The next movement is the crossover hold. So similar to the knee hold, you're bringing your knee up, but you're actually putting your ankle across your body. And we're abbreviating these a little bit, so although they may not do 10 total, you'll want to do 10 when you're doing this exercise. The next is a quad hold. So you want to make sure that you grab your opposing leg with the other arm and then stick your free arm up. Great. Maintaining balance. If you find that you're falling out of balance, slow it down. You do not need to do these fast. Then after you've done 10 on each side, you want to go to inchworms. Moonly may help with the inchworms. So inchworms are, you're going to walk out. And if you have enough room, you're able to walk your feet forward to your hands, and then you keep going. Yes. And this is going to work core as well as strength. So you want to do about 10 of these, as many as you can fit within the space, and you may have to get a little creative. So next up is your ankle mobility. So you really want to bring your foot forward and then roll it in one direction, say 5 to 6 times, before you go in the opposite direction on that same leg. And then you switch legs. You may hear some cracks and pops, and that's okay. We're just warming things up. The next is a low lunge that with your arms overhead that actually is going to increase your hip flexor mobility. So if you're able to get your knee down on the ground, that's great. And if not, that's okay, like Allison was demonstrating. And what you want to make sure to do is that your leg is in line, your rear leg is in line with your hip. So it's a straight line back. And your foot can either be flexed or laying down on the ground, as Patty's demonstrating. Great. And next is a half pigeon stretch. So this one is similar to the pigeon in yoga. So you bring your leg across, and you want to try and get it as close to parallel as you can with your hands. Although at first that may not happen, and that's okay. And you do a little bit of movement here before switching to the other side. It's tempting to sit in this one for a while because it really does feel good, but you'll want to wait until after you're done exercising to really get the stretching in. So pigeon stretch on both sides, great. The next is the groin stretch. And this one, you definitely want to have some kind of carpeted or soft surface in which to put your knee on. And as Allison's demonstrating and Patty, you can move up and down to really kind of get into that groin area. And you should feel it on the leg that is not, or the knee that's not bent, so on the outstretched leg. And you want to do both sides for this one. Awesome. After that, you'll transition into the side plank on your elbow. And for this, if you can start off with 15 seconds holding it, you can put your hand on your hip. You can also stretch your arm up. If you want to increase the difficulty level, you can bring up that leg. Great. And then you want to work on this one for maybe 30 seconds at most before switching sides. Again, this is just a warm-up, so we're not going to hold these for super long. It just kind of activates the obliques and gets things moving. Awesome. After that, you'll do a Spiderman move. And this one is like a, similar, it's a low lunge with your opposing arm going down. Yes, perfect. So you're kind of twisting your rib cage open before switching sides. If you need to go slow on this one, that's totally fine to set up. It's important to have your balance. Great. And after you've done that one, you'll go into the hip bridge. And this one's pretty simple. You'll lay down on your back and put your legs out in front of you, knees bent, and lift your hips up. Then count to maybe a count of 2 at the top of it, and then lower back down. and kind of maybe do 10 of these. Patty's increase of difficulty by keeping her arms overhead. It's just really good balance and really good at engaging your lower core. Great. And then lastly, we do the foam roller, the Y to W. And if you don't have a foam roller, well, first we'll show Allison. So she lays on a long foam roller so that she gets her pelvis over it as well as her back for support, and her neck. And her arms are going overhead as a Y, and then comes down to a W. And if for some reason you don't have a foam roller available, you could combine 2 smaller ones, or just do this with standing up, like Patty's going to demonstrate. Yes, great. And all of these movements should get you ready for the work ahead.